What's going on, guys? I'm SimpleSimon, I'm your comic book noob. Welcome to the NOOB Rebirth. Quite a number of episodes ago, we did an episode where we talked about aliens, the movies, and the comic books, and we did tease at the end that we would eventually do one on Predator, and today is the day. It is going to be the Predator special, and joining me as always is my barista Mark. Say hi, Mark.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Oh yeah, he's making me a coffee. So anyway, let's do this. So one thing we never really got to talk about is Prey, the new Predator movie.
Didn't we talk about that?
No, we've never spoken about it.
It was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was good. It was in the Predator thing, you know, and it was good to see. Even though you had tech, it was low tech.
Yeah, because it was set obviously a while back.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And I enjoyed that, and I liked that they didn't use the mud. They alluded to it, but they didn't really.
They used the medicine instead.
Yeah, which
cools your blood.
Yeah, well, but they had to try something, and at least they tried something new, and I'll commend them for that. Not using the same, right? And that's cool. The action was good, the horror was good, the suspense was good, but it didn't even come near the epicness of, you know, the original.
I think it was a really clever idea to do it, set it in that time, but I'm surprised that you're not praising it as much, because really, when you think about it, so I've gone back and rewatched most of the Predator movies in the last 6 months, right, to a year. I only rewatched the first one again last night for the first time in a long time. But in reality, Prey is the first good Predator movie since the first one.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah,
because for such a popular franchise, there really isn't very many good movies. Actually, no, that's not true. That's not true. Predators with Adrian Brody, I thought that was a good one. That's probably one of the only other ones that I would say was actually a decent film.
Well, Predator 2 was good.
Have you rewatched?
What was it you didn't like about Predator 2?
I just don't think it even came close to look, it was a moments movie. It had a moment at the end, which is great, but the movie overall was very slow.
Had a great cast, and I reckon they replicated the camaraderie between the police squad and the captain. You know, especially having the one colourful character, which was, you know, what's his name's character?
Danny Glover.
No.
Mark Ruffalo.
No.
He was in it.
I know. No, not Mark Ruffalo. The guy who plays Hudson.
Oh, sorry, Bill Paxton.
Yeah, sorry.
Bill Paxton.
Having the colourful character of Bill Paxton that he played, and then you had the other characters who they played their character to a T. I think it was great. I thought Predator 2 was different from the first one, and they needed that. And having Danny Glover, which wasn't, you know, the Schwarzenegger type character, I think that worked because he was in the city and it was street smart. He used his street smarts, and I thought was fantastic in that sense. I think in Predators with Adrian Brody, they're forgettable characters, really. They tried to create that same, but there was no connection between them apart from being dropped on that planet.
Yeah, no, but then they had to learn about each other and learn how to work as a team and
it's still
realize they're all in the same situation and
not really. They were all out for themselves. They're criminals, man. Most of them were criminals, or they did bad things for money. It was a great idea having the preserve. I thought that was a great concept. I think they could have went further with that if they really wanted to, but I think they held back a bit. I mean, Adrian Brody, I don't know if he was believable enough for me, but I think you know, using the mud again, and you know, I think should have out the more. He came across as a really smart character, a character who's aware of his surroundings, been in endless campaigns. So I think they should have used that more into his character, into beating the Predator. Just with the famous "if it bleeds" line, I think it works better in Prey than any of them in the past. Because when I rewatched the first one last night, he responds too quickly. It didn't really, like, obviously at the time and obviously through history we know that line, it's a very famous line. But when I watched it last night and she talks about the blood thing, he responds instantly, and I feel like it didn't really come off as, because I watched Prey again a few nights ago, and when he says it in that, it makes more sense, I feel like,
coming from that time, coming from that tribe, and yeah, I don't know. I thought Prey was.
Yeah, but you've
so
heard
good.
it before, and I think
Yeah, I've heard it
they had the chance to place it in a proper spot. I suppose with the original, it was a point of evidence.
Yeah, it's just
it was obvious. If it bleeds, then we can kill
It's
it.
a really quick response though in the original one, and I feel like it doesn't really seem realistic.
I reckon it does.
Let's go back in time to Predator back in the day though, because obviously I saw it as a kid, and as a kid in like the 80s, it's like whoa, right? Like, and then rewatching it last night, it was just like it's up there as one of the most manly movies of all time, right?
Absolutely, and that's what that was about. It was testosterone gone nuts. That was filmed entirely on location as well. It had a lot of problems. John McTiernan almost gave up the film. Yeah, John McTiernan was about to quit filming, like out of the project, because he was filming this creature in a suit, and it just looked B grade, and he just saw the massive failure this movie was going to happen to it. Van Damme.
Yeah, Van Damme was playing it.
The villain.
It's crazy to think.
In a suit.
It's crazy to think how different the world would be if they went with that original vision for the monster, and Predator might not even be ever mentioned again. It's really weird.
Absolutely.
Because I think the newer design that they went with obviously is what made that movie iconic.
They brought in this guy named Stan Winston. That doesn't ring a bell.
Was he the special effects guy?
That's right. So he was the guy.
The master, wasn't he?
He was a master. He created the Terminator for James Cameron. So yeah, they brought him in. He redesigned. They got another actor to fit in a suit, taller, more, and it absolutely worked. And also, what he did in that film, he made it a point. If you watch a lot of that film, especially the beginning part, there's always something in between the camera and the actor. Always a branch, a leaf. Always. And he made you want to feel that you're in there. And years later, when they released the special edition with the head, remember that?
Yes.
That was a 3D version of the movie, converted. That movie, the original, had so many one-liners. It had the typical Schwarzenegger one-liners, stick around, and throwing the knife, sticking it to some guy in a pole, that sort of thing. Yeah, you had such an ensemble of not only muscle men, but the original, Mr. Shane Black was in that film. The writer of all the Lethal Weapon movies, and also the director of Iron Man 3 and countless of other films. Man, Long Kiss Goodnight. He wrote that. You know what I mean? So he played Billy, the jokes guy, and then he full circle. He went in and directed the worst movie Predator in the Predator franchise of all, The Predator.
Oh, did he do that?
Yeah.
So I only attempted watching that for the first time like this year, like probably a few months ago, and I couldn't do it.
No.
I literally got.
In his defense,
I got about just over halfway through, and I was like, I'm done with this.
Look, in his defense though, he had a lot of problems from the studio. Like he had a lot of studio interference. So that's in his defense, but the movie should never have been released. It was so bad. And then, to go across the Aliens and Predator movies, they were so bad. They were like B-grade films. These franchises are being absolutely destroyed.
Which is weird why it's, I guess, those original ones that just like are so good that it's made these franchises, like kept them alive just from the originals.
We've said it with the Alien stuff, like countless of source material in the comic books or in books. I mean, the Predator line from Dark Horse was very, very good. I mean, the first run that they did was actually, extended. It was before the second Predator film, but it extended Dutch Schwarzenegger's character into the comic books, whereas he wasn't in them, but he was all about his brother. And those books were the inspiration for Predator 2, because it was Predator in the city, and Dutch's brother was a New York cop. Okay. And he's dealing with all these murders and stuff, and at the same time trying to find his brother. It was absolutely fantastic. It was such a great comic book series. The Cold War was a great miniseries. And that again carries on that Dutchess Brothers storyline.
The endless crossovers.
The endless crossovers, yeah. Batman, Predator. They just did a recent one, Wolverine, Predator.
There's obviously a lot of different types of Predators as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like the comic books probably do the best job at
Correct.
going. The movies actually are quite good. Like
Predator 2, they showcase.
the end of Predator 2, obviously they have all the different Predators. But then also, I think it's the AVP movies. Like they have the crossbreed of the Xenomorph in Predator. In the second one,
In Predator v Alien, yeah.
In the second one, yeah.
The Xeno, the
The
cross,
second one was bad.
which was
See, the first one still had a good concept. The first one had the whole explanation about how the predators breeded them to hunt them and stuff like that.
that
was a cool little concept.
But the problem I had with that
Yeah.
was that it's set on Earth. You have a whole galaxy, to play with, man. But what do? They set it on Earth. I mean, it was ridiculous, and the size of that queen, she was massive, man. She was as big as a dinosaur. She was too big, man, too big. They take a little bit from the comic books with the female character, how she helps the predator, and then he marks her. And in one of the comic books, that happens exactly.
I was going to actually ask you. So there is I know there's a character who's actually a human, but she's basically.
Yeah. So they take her in the comic books. They take her with. They end up taking her with them, and they train her. Right, but instead of marking her on her cheek, they marked her on her forehead. And I'm going, if they take her, it's going to make up for all the other crap in this film. And they didn't take her, and so it ended up being a crap film. And then the second one, how they sort of continued on from the first movie. It was I'll tell you what, it was much more brutal, much more violent, that movie, the second one.
Something that they've kind of moved away from is skinning the people. They don't really show that anymore. I kind of forgot about that until rewatching the first two. But yeah, definitely more brutal, and they've definitely tamed the Predator.
Yeah, absolutely. I think from Predator 1, even Predator 2 was a bit more brutal. It's a disappointment that they have so much source material, and it's like usual Hollywood. They take IPs and they pretty much destroy them. It's happened to a lot. I rattle them off, just 5 I can think of. Star Wars, number 1. Indiana Jones.
Agreed.
Lord of the Rings. Predator. Alien. And the list goes on.
I'm excited for the new Alien to come out. The Alien franchise is nowhere near as bad as the Predator.
No, well...
Like Predator, literally, like I said, there's only 3 Predator films that I really like.
Prometheus was okay, Covenant not so good.
Yeah.
It's whether he's going to do a third one, who knows.
Just to finish off, what's your top 3 Predator films?
Number 1, obviously, has got to be the first one in 1984, I think. Is it 1984?
87.
87, I was bad, I was wrong.
87 was big, yeah, RoboCop.
That's right.
Yeah.
So good. And then I suppose the second one's got to be Predator 2 for me. I love that. So, again, a lot of one-liners.
What's the third, mate?
Oh, the third one's going to be, it's got to be Prey.
Yeah. So for me, it's probably, when I rewatched number 2, I really didn't enjoy it that much. I mean, it's probably number 4 for me, part 2. So number 1, easily.
It's my specialty.
Huh?
That's what Bruce Paxton's line is. Everything he go and do this. Oh, don't worry, it's my specialty. I love it. Such a great.
Number 2 would probably be Prey for me, and then number 3 would be Predators. Is what the
Prey.
Yeah.
No way, mate. One thing I really loved about Prey is the subtle tie-in they had to the original 2.
Yeah, so you know what's funny?
With the gun.
I don't remember that. So that's why I went and rewatched the second one, because my mate explained to me, that's the gun from the end of the second one. It's okay. And the clever thing about that is they don't explain anything.
No.
It just kind of gives you, now you've got all these questions. How do the Predators get it back and things like that. That was
correct.
Yeah.
So
brilliant movie.
Yeah, it is. It's a good film. It is a good film.
He's like, Prey's not that good. What do you give it out of 10?
I didn't say it wasn't that good. I said it was okay.
Alright guys, that's all we have for you today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the show, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment, let us know what your top 3 Predator films are, and what you love about the franchise, what you don't like, and make sure you say bye Mark in the comments.
Okay, you ready? Dylan! You goodbye, Mark.
Keep it simple.
Don't diss the Schwarzenegger, mate. Converted 3D movie of Predator.
Really? I've got a 3D TV still.
Right, and I watched it,
Yeah.
and it looks amazing because he put that in between. It looks It was one of the best conversions I've
That's
ever
the
seen.
problem with 3D and why it never took off is because people didn't take the time to make a movie feel 3D. Like Avatar was shit in 3D. The best 3D movie I ever saw was Harold and Kumar in 3D because they filmed scenes that actually made you feel the 3D.
Well,
Anyway.
that's your mentality and my mentality. Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.